The Spirit of Main Street Award celebrates a development project that significantly advances shared prosperity, economic vitality, and quality of life in one of Gaston County's downtown districts. The criteria for this award are comprehensive, highlighting the multifaceted impact such projects must have. This includes contributions to the local economy, distinctiveness and character enhancement, community engagement, and inclusivity, adaptation and resilience, sustainability, collaboration and partnership, innovation and creativity, and overall impact investment in the region. Thank you, Pat, for making me say all that. So it is with great pride this year the award goes to Alchemy Co-working.
But I just wanted to take a second to take all of this in and just really express the gratitude for this community. I don't know any other place in the world where a small town boy like myself from New Mexico, I'm from if the middle of nowhere had a middle of nowhere. So if you look at New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, all of their middle of nowheres, they pushed them all together, and that's where I was born. So the middle of nowhere had a middle of nowhere, and where I come from, entrepreneurship is not something that's encouraged. It's not something that's culturally understood. I like to say it was really hard to dream when you're just raised in a culture that's trying to survive. And building a business or owning a business, I didn't know that that was even an option. But I always felt like I was called to more. I always felt like there was something within me that I wanted to give more. And I was always looking for these different places to do it. So coming out of high school, I went to play college football, and I thought I was going to go to the NFL. Well, you see my height, okay? In New Mexico, I'm a really tall Mexican. I can say that. You can't. I'm a really tall Mexican. But then I went to Colorado State, and I was extremely average. I knew I was not going to. Thank you. Go Wolfpack. Going to Colorado State, I realized I wasn't going to go to the NFL, and I wasn't helping my family. My family at the time was going through some issues. I had a sister that was battling drug addiction, and it's really common where I come from that an aunt or a grandmother or a grandfather or a cousin ends up raising someone else's kids. And I realized that I wasn't helping by being there, not knowing what I wanted to go to college for. So I went to work into corrections at 18 and dealt with county corrections. I wanted to go into law enforcement. So at 20, I joined the Army National Guard, and I spent some time there. I promoted, and at 21, I went into law enforcement. And I was always looking for that thing that was more. Now, granted, I had already set the level of expectation or the standard for my family, because graduating high school is the standard, right? I was, really exceeding beyond that point. But I didn't really find what I was looking for until I got to Gaston County. It wasn't until I got here, and I was thinking, what's wrong with you? Thank you to my wonderful, amazing, patient, beautiful wife who believed in me. After 6 months being married, I said, I think I'm going to apply to this church in Elevation, in North Carolina called Elevation. And she said, are they hiring? I said, I don't know. She said, have you ever been to North Carolina? I said, I don't know, but I feel like God's telling me to apply there. And she said, okay, good luck. And then she followed me out here, and really, boy, did she have an eye for potential. If any of you need recruiting service for your business, she could find a diamond in the rough, trust me. But she followed me and she supported me, and I was getting to a point in my life where I felt like something was wrong. And it was the entrepreneurs of this community that showed me it's not what's wrong with you, Keanu, it's what's right with you. You're a terrible employee, yes, but you weren't built to be an employee. You were built to employ. You were built to build businesses. You were built to be an entrepreneur, and I didn't even know how to spell entrepreneur. But they said, Keanu, you have that in you. And they inspired that belief. They inspired that mindset. Then when I quit my job in June of 2020, because that was a really good time to quit your benefits and your job, and your wife is going to school to be a teacher, and I went all in, Summer and Preston Wilson surrounded me and said, we're going to be your first client. And then I said, I can't work from home. I either want to watch The Office at noon or I want to work at midnight. I need a place to work. And Preston says, well, I have a room. You can use the room. And I said, Preston, I don't know how to manage my finances. I know I shouldn't be doing my business account out of an extra USAA account. This is wrong, right? What should I do? So he gives me his financial controller. And these entrepreneurs instilled the belief, the mindset. They gave me the place. They gave me the support. They gave me the services, which really inspired what now became Alchemy. I said, I want to do what these entrepreneurs did for me and take that, what was out of the kindness of their heart, and systemize it for others to be exposed to entrepreneurship, to be exposed to business. And Alchemy was born. And after 3 years, we're now here celebrating today. But Alchemy, the definition is a process. It's the process of taking something ordinary and turning it into something extraordinary. And Alchemy and myself and what we're doing in downtown Gastonia, it's the alchemy not of what we've done, but what of so many of you have done to sacrifice and your dedication and your hard work over the years. Mayor Stoltz, the late Mayor Garland, Christy Crisp, since 2001, believing in downtown Gastonia and what it could be. This is the alchemy of all of that hard work, and God had laid out these plans before us, so we're just thankful to walk in them now. And this award is not a finish line for us. This award is not a culmination or a reward for us. It's just a seed that will continue to pour back into the community for what we intend to continue to do to support the spirit of Main Street and to represent that always. So thank you, GBA, thank you, Mecca, and thank you all. God bless.
The Spirit of the Economy Award embodies the essence of what makes our region thrive. This award recognizes an entity who has shown exemplary dedication to driving economic growth and business success in Gaston County and North Carolina. The nominee for this prestigious award must have made significant contributions to the economic development of Gaston County and North Carolina through job creation, revenue generation, and local investments. Additionally, the nominee should demonstrate innovative practices and a strong commitment to entrepreneurship and economic growth, proven efforts in workforce development, talent acquisition, and employee training are essential, showcasing a dedication to enhancing the local labor force. Active involvement in the community, initiatives, partnerships, and collaborations is a key criteria. The nominee must also show the ability to adapt to changing economic conditions and the market dynamics while maintaining a strong commitment to economic prosperity. Efforts in expanding market reach, attracting investment, and promoting Gaston County and North Carolina as competitive business destinations are crucial. Strong financial performance, a positive growth trajectory, and strategic investments are important indicators of success. Lastly, the nominee should positively influence other businesses and entrepreneurs, serving as a role model and inspiration for economic development efforts in the region. Congratulations to all the winners tonight for their outstanding contributions. Together, we are building a brighter and more prosperous future for Gaston County and North Carolina. It's now my privilege to introduce Debbie Winley, who will present the Spirit of the Economy Award this evening. So give Debbie a hand, please.
Another partnership that is a great one that Belmont Abbey is very excited about. Did you know that there's a partnership between Belmont Abbey College and Caramont Health? I didn't know. Don't know if you're aware of that, but there's this beautiful new building that you can see from 85 that is growing on the campus of Belmont Abbey College. And that is Caramont Health, the Belmont campus. And what a beautiful building it is, and what a great testimony that is to the power and the importance of partnership. In addition to that building, another partnership that's emerged from that particular, these two organizations, is the nursing program that was started at Belmont Abbey. This May, the first graduates in the first three programs of nurses at Belmont Abbey College are graduated, gainfully employed, and affecting lives in the area for the good as they pursue their professional careers as nurses. We enjoy partnerships with Gaston College, Gaston County Schools, certainly enjoying a strong partnership with the Gaston Business Association, as we are working strongly with both businesses and the Gaston Business Association to make sure that the Abbey is meeting the professional workforce development needs of Gaston County. So in appreciation for Belmont Abbey College, in appreciation for the numerous hats I've been able to wear there, it's my pleasure, especially for Abbott Placid, as well as for Dr. Therfelder, to say hats off to you for the great job that you are doing, the leadership, the vision that you've cast for the college, and in the quiet, unassuming way that you're truly impacting the economic development of Gaston County. So congratulations, and thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to express my profound gratitude to you, to Gaston Business Association, to Pat Mumford, to the board, to First Horizon for this wonderful recognition. You know, certainly economic development is vital to making Gaston County the incredible place that it is to live and work and pray and play. But it begins with love of God, love of family, love of neighbor, and love of country. And it's really built upon the friendships, those that are in this room, those that are here throughout this county, that are really remarkable kinds of friendships. Aristotle talks about friendships, and he says there's basically three kinds. And the first two are sort of accidental. They're nice, they're okay, they're either based on convenience or they're based on shared interests. Those are fine. But he talks about this third kind of friendship, and it's a rare and long-lasting friendship. It's the kind where you only want the good for the friend's sake alone. If you had one of those friends in your life, you're blessed beyond your ability to be thankful enough for it. I have found living here in Gaston County, I'm overwhelmed with the numbers of those kinds of friends. One of them tonight is being honored, Chris Peak. This is how things happen. When you talk about economic development, it's not some mathematical formula. It comes from friendships. It comes from relationships. Chris and I got to know each other. I remember we're having lunch one day, and suddenly he says, "What would you think about putting a hospital on your campus?" You know, and I was like, "Well, when do we start digging the hole?" You know, but it's that kind of friendship that makes these kinds of things happen.
South State is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Spirit of the Carolinas Award. This award is designed to recognize a person that has made a long-term impact on the economy, community, and cultural fabric of Gaston County. The recipient of the award embodies exceptional leadership and vision, driving the success and growth of their company within the Carolinas region. The honoree demonstrates professional excellence, recognized through their achievements, accolades, and leadership within their field. They are engaged in advocacy efforts, promoting policy and initiatives that advance the interests of the industry, workforce, and community. Their ability to collaborate with stakeholders and community leaders to drive innovation and foster economic growth is remarkable. Tonight, we celebrate someone that exemplifies these qualities and more. I have known this individual for over 3 decades. Chris Peak, CEO of Carolina Health, is one of the kindest, most humble individuals I have ever had the pleasure to know, and he is so deserving of this honor. Knowing him, I know he will not take credit for the success of his hospital. However, we all know great leaders breed great success. So it is my honor to introduce the individual who will present this award. Please join me in welcoming Jeff Booker to the podium. Oh, and Chris, I would like to publicly thank you and your amazing team for the excellence and the care that was given to me during my time in your hospital last year. Thank you.
Well, like many of you, I have attended this event for a number of years. And we have listened as leaders have been recognized for what they have done for both their companies and our community. It is unique tonight to recognize someone who leads an organization whose vitality is critical to our economic health, but also our physical and emotional health. Tonight, we recognize someone we all know and many of us call a friend. However, I want you to go back to 2017. Our hospital was once again an organization in transition. After more than 32 years of leadership, we were facing our 4th leader in 8 years. What is the board of Caromont thinking? Who is this guy was asked more than once, and candidly, by many in this room. We quickly learned who Chris Peak was and is. It is my humble privilege to invite my friend Chris Peak up to receive the Spirit of the Carolinas Award.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I'm really sorry that whoever you just spoke about is unable to be here this evening. So you're stuck with me. Dr. Booker, we have a lot to talk about after this is over. It's truly humbling to be able to stand here this evening with you. It was almost 7 years ago to the day that I stood in a room as a member of the Caramont Board on the day that they surprised the world, including me, where they offered and invited me to become the CEO of Caramont Health. It was that day, as the chair of the board at the time, that I was able to introduce the board to an individual by the name of Edwin Thomas. And so I want to introduce you this evening. Some of you may know who Edwin Thomas is, but in the event that you don't, I want you to leave here understanding who Edwin Thomas is, and I believe that will mean something to you like it does to me. You see, Edwin Thomas was a master of the theatrical stage. In the mid-1800s, this little man with a huge voice was unparalleled in his acting ability. You see, at the age of 15, Edwin Thomas acted as Richard III on the Shakespearean Theatre in London. And he earned the acclaim of very harsh London critics, to the point that he eventually, for 100 consecutive nights, performed Hamlet and the tragedy that Shakespeare had written there. But you see, Edwin Thomas, even though he was a master of tragedy on the stage, the tragedy in his life, quite candidly, even surpassed that ability. You see, Edwin Thomas had two brothers. One was named John, the other was named Junius, and they were also actors, not quite to his acclaim, but they performed together occasionally. And it was actually in 1863 that the three brothers took the stage together and they performed Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. And the fact that Edwin's brother John played the part of the traitor Brutus was an eerie harbinger of something that was to come. Because it was that same John that in 1865 slipped into the back of Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., and put a bullet in the back of the head of Abraham Lincoln. Yes, their last name was Booth. Edwin Thomas Booth and John Wilkes Booth were brothers. You see, as a result of the shame, Edwin withdrew from the stage, and he probably would never have returned had it not been for a certain circumstance on a train podium in New Jersey. As the crowd stood there, and Edwin stood there among the crowd, a little boy that was fine dressed was playing. And because of the force of the crowd, he was pushed over the edge of the podium, right in front of the oncoming train. And it was just at that moment that Edwin reached down and pulled the boy back onto the podium, saving his life. But you see, Edwin didn't recognize the little boy, but oh, the little boy recognized the famous Edwin Thomas. And it was not until just a few weeks later that Edwin received a letter that he carried in his pocket for the rest of his life. It was a letter from a current Army general that wrote to thank him for saving the life of Richard Todd Lincoln, the son of Abraham Lincoln. You see, two brothers, same parents, same family. One chose death, the other chose life. You see, choices have consequences. And in many cases, those consequences are amazing. They're wonderful. Just as was spoken earlier, my parents made a choice to answer a call from a pastor they didn't know, inviting them to come to a place they weren't very familiar with, for a job that didn't exist at the time, all for the promise of $86 a week. And they made the choice to come because of a vision to minister to people in West Gastonia. What choice will you make? What choice will you make in your place of business tomorrow where you create an opportunity for the next unexpected recipient somewhere down the road to be standing on this stage. I'll leave you with this. George Washington Carver probably said it best. He said that how far you go in life depends on how tender you are with the young, how compassionate you are with the old, how sympathetic you are with the striving, and how tolerant you are of the weak and the strong, because at some point in your life, you will have been all of them. Thank you, and God bless.